Properties of parallelograms. Can you try this question? A parallelogram is a dash if its diagonals are perpendicular. The options are A. Rectangle, B. Square, C. Rhombus, or D. Trapezium. First, do you remember what is a parallelogram? Yes, a figure where opposite sides are equal and parallel. So, AB and DC are equal and parallel. AD and BC are equal and parallel. Let us draw the diagonals of this parallelogram. What is perpendicular? Correct. It means two lines intersect each other at 90 degrees. See the angles made by these diagonals. In many common parallelograms, these two angles may be less than 90 degrees and these two angles may be greater than 90 degrees. That is, the diagonals may not be perpendicular. Now, suppose I straighten this parallelogram and make it a rectangle. Remember that a rectangle is a special type of parallelogram with opposite sides equal and adjacent sides perpendicular. It is clear that these two angles are still less than 90 degrees and these two angles are still greater than 90 degrees. So, the diagonals are still not perpendicular. Now, suppose I bring the two sides closer and make this figure a square. Remember that a square is a special type of rectangle and also a special type of parallelogram with all four sides equal and adjacent sides perpendicular. Since the sides are equal, the diagonals are intersecting at 90 degrees. That is, they are perpendicular. But is it necessary that the parallelogram has to be a square for this to happen? Let us go back to the parallelogram. Let me now turn the diagonals a bit to make them perpendicular. This is possible only if the four sides are all equal. But notice that this is not a square. The adjacent sides are not perpendicular to each other. What is this figure called? Correct, rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram where all four sides are equal. There was one more figure mentioned in the question, trapezium. This is a trapezium. The diagonals are clearly not at 90 degrees. Let us come back to our question. Option D is clearly wrong. Though a square has perpendicular diagonals, it is not necessary for the parallelogram to be a square in order to have perpendicular diagonals. It is only necessary for it to be a rhombus. That is, when all sides of the parallelogram are equal, the diagonals will be perpendicular. The adjacent sides may or may not be perpendicular. So, the correct answer is C, rhombus.